All right, we are here with physical therapist Lori and our new yoga teacher at 8 a.m. on Sundays. So we're going to have a little discussion on the pelvic floor and how to train it appropriately. So this is Lori.
Hi guys.
What's up? Hello.
Hello.
So we just, we're going back a second, and she was just talking about, she asked a question on what is the core, and a lot of times people will say it's just the abdominal muscles, and Lori just told us all that it's more than just the abdominals. It is.
It is. So we have, yes, the rectus abdominis. There's actually a slide, guys. Let's see. Go to, actually, the second page. The second page. So we have diaphragm, transverse abdominis, okay, which is what everybody knows to be the six-pack abs. Your internal, external obliques. Your transverse abdominis, I said that. Well, internal, external obliques, the multifidi, which is that Christmas tree muscles in your back. And then also, again, the pelvic floor, which is base at the base of your spine, and into that, the pelvic bowl. And then we can go even a little bit deeper and get into glute on one side, quadratus lumborum, and lat on the opposite side. Okay, so it's listed there for you guys with the picture. If we go back to the first slide, this is just to give you guys an idea of what the pelvic floor muscles look like. So the big picture that's there on the left is actually as if you were looking, if somebody was standing and you were literally standing underneath them looking up between their legs, okay? That's what the muscles look like from below. The second picture on top is what it looks like if you're looking down and into the pelvis, okay? So you have, of course, the opening to the vagina, and you also have the opening to the rectum, okay? So all these muscles, you can see the different fibers. Some are circular, some are transverse, but that is your pelvic floor. It's what controls urine and bowel, all of that, as well as supporting the core, okay? So it's not that you guys have to know these, and specifically, it's not even about that, but I just want you to have an idea of what that looks like. So when you have the diaphragm at the top and you have the pelvic muscles at the bottom, they're pretty much like a hammock, because they swing from one side of your pelvis to the other, okay? So that things, again, don't fall out. So when, especially with women who have had hysterectomies, there's nothing there holding anything in place. So a lot of
they take out all the muscles.
Well, no, because, so everything, because your uterus is attached to the abdominals and into the pelvic floor and all that. So if they remove the uterus and give you a hysterectomy, or whether it's full or partial, there's no more, there's part of your support is missing. So it's not that the uterus is supporting you per se, but the muscles that it was being attached to obviously have been altered with, and so support goes away, as well as sensation and innervation from nerves and everything, okay? So that just kind of gives you an idea of how involved the pelvic floor really is. Okay, so then we talked about what makes up the core, and on the next page, diastasis recti. Are you guys familiar what diastasis recti is? Have you guys heard of it?
Just from Brien.
Not before here.
Yeah.
No clue.
No clue. Okay, so diastasis recti is a splitting of the rectus abdominis muscles, okay? So literally, so a lot of times if you have seen a pregnant woman or pictures of it, you kind of get that dark line that comes down from the belly. So that's your linea alba. The linea alba is where the abs also connect into that connective tissue, right? So a diastasis recti, yes, mainly we know of it because of pregnant women, but anybody can get this. Sometimes even newborns are born with a diastasis recti, a hernia. People that suffer from a hernia, they have a diastasis recti. With newborns and stuff, a lot of times that'll just kind of heal and go back to normal on its own. But people who've had lots of weight gain and then a weight loss is also susceptible to this, because it's caused by an increase in intra-abdominal pressure. That's what causes a diastasis recti. So if you think of pregnancy, right, you have this increased pressure that's going on, your abs are being stretched, and then of course they can split.
Same thing happens with obesity.
Same thing happens with increased weight gain. Yo-yo dieting. We stretch them, they go back to normal. We stretch, they go back to normal. We stretch, we don't so much go back to normal, and vice versa. So anything can cause this. Men, sometimes too, we'll see those men that are pretty fit, but they kind of just have that thick beer belly, other than like the cortisol belly fat that we have. So people with distended bellies, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a diastasis recti. Okay. So that's what it is. And the picture on the top just kind of shows you what our abdominals should be looking like, that on the top left, and then what happens when it splits. So this is why we have to be careful, because guess if it splits too much, take a guess of what can pop out.
Everything in there?
Your intestines,
Oh.
right? And then of course that leads you to a
In the
hernia.
boot camp.
You don't want that, okay? So that just shows you, and there's different
plank and lose my intestines.
There's different degrees of a diastasis recti, which we'll get into. And then these are just some other pictures on the right-hand side of different ways that it can look on people, okay? So again, like another one is just, moms and women who will be like, I've lost weight everywhere, but I can't get rid of my mommy pooch. Chance they may have a diastasis recti, okay? Or not even so much a diastasis recti, but a core that is not functioning appropriately, okay? You guys following me so far? Mm-hmm. Okay. If this doesn't make sense, stop and we'll go back, okay? Okay, so yes, we have weakness that can happen in the pelvic floor from multiple things, surgeries, pregnancy, weight gain, so on and so forth. But posture also affects this, because if we're out of alignment in one position, the body has to compensate in another, right? And we all know that if your muscles are not in proper alignment, they're not going to function and fire properly, right? You guys follow me on that piece? So, for example, this happens a lot of times. People are exercising, like with the, what would be a good one? With a sit-up, for example. You see sometimes people who like to hang from the bars and then bring their legs up, right, to parallel. Well, if you come just to 90 degrees, you're only getting hip flexor. It's not until that pelvis tilts that you're getting abdominals. So my point of bringing that up is, how many times are we thinking we're doing a sit-up properly, but we're just banging the hell out of our hip flexors? Hip flexors attach from the femur into the lumbar spine, starts to pull us into an anterior pelvic tilt, and then again we get out of alignment, and one thing can kind of lead to the other.
It's a cascade.
It's a cascade. So when I'm rehabbing anybody with pelvic floor issues, I'm also addressing their posture. Okay? Because again, I can't expect their muscles to fire appropriately if they're not in the right alignment. Okay? Make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So, how do we test for a diastasis recti? And I'll have you guys feel this on me, because I actually have a diastasis recti that I'm still
I'm
rehabbing.
going to just pause that here and start another video real quick.
Yeah, sure.